Welcome back, True Seeker. This past Monday, August 6th, 2018, the city of Boston swore in its first black police commissioner. And would you believe it? He is the 42nd police commissioner of Boston all time. Number 42, which should remind most people out there of Jackie Robinson, who wore the number 42. We're going to talk about the language of Gematria, the ancient practice of coding numbers into words, which is very important to Freemasonry, which is what has influence over all police in this nation and much of this world. And we're going to talk about how the name Jackie sums to 42, among other things, in this language of Gematria. So William G. Gross, sworn in as the first black police commissioner, again in Boston, number 42. And if you're not familiar with Freemasonry, this is their logo, the capital G with the compass and the square. And there's actually several police uniforms in this nation that have the Freemason logo on it, because Freemasonry does control police. That's not hearsay or nonsense, it's fact. And if you look at what the majority of fundraisers that are conducted by Freemason lodges are for, it's for the town's police. That's true in all towns in this nation, no matter how small or large. So that capital G in Gematria, this ancient practice of coding numbers into words, has multiple numerical values. And the two most important of those values are G symbolizing 33 in Francis Bacon Gematria. If you don't know who Francis Bacon is, an important Rosicrucian in Freemason, the right-hand man to King James. They say if there was no Francis Bacon, there would be no United States of America. If you haven't read my book, Letters and Numbers, there's a chapter that covers much about Francis Bacon. Anyhow, capital G, 33. This man was a member of the Boston Police for 33 years before being sworn in as the 42nd commissioner. The capital G also symbolizes 42. And the way these two ciphers work, just for some knowledge, Francis Bacon Gematria takes into account lowercase and uppercase letters. In Francis Bacon, lowercase A through Z are 1 through 26. Uppercase A through Z are 27 through 52. So capital G is 33. This Sumerian Gematria, what you do is you just take the alphabetic order and multiply each letter times 6. So A is 6, B is 12, C is 18, D is 24, E is 30, F is 36, G is 42. And again, we're talking about a man sworn in as the 42nd commissioner after 33 years of service. In the language of Gematria, the word Freemason also sums to 42. The way this cipher works, you take the alphabetic order and you incorporate the rules of numerology. So F is the 6th letter, F is 6. R is the 18th letter, but in numerology, 18 is not a number. 1 plus 8 for 18 becomes 9. In numerology, you only look at single-digit numbers. R is 9, E is the 5th letter, E is the 5th. When you get to M, that's the 13th. 1 plus 3 is 4. A is the 1st. S is the 19th. 1 plus 9 is 10. 1 plus 0 is 1. O is the 15th. 1 plus 5 is 6. N is the 14th. 1 plus 4 is 5. Make each letter a single-digit number. Add it up. Freemason, 42. 42 and 33. They're the numbers in this ritual. Masonry 33, secrecy 33, police 33, order 33, federal 33. The federal government, its headquarters in Washington, D.C., named after a 33rd degree Scottish Rite Freemason, George Washington. So, you've learned a few ciphers. The 4 base ciphers are the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology, like we just did for these up here. And then the other 2 of the 4 base ciphers are flipping the alphabetic order around, making Z1 and counting up to A as 26, and then taking that same order and using the rules of numerology. And I want you to see that the name William G. Gross sums to 187 in the base ciphers. Articles written about him refer to him as William G. Gross and William Gross. I can't find what the G stands for, but I have an idea that this is part of the reason some articles emphasize that. The capital G in the Freemason logo. Anyhow, William G. Gross, 187. Why does that matter? Fraternal Order of Police, Gematria of 187. Also, Ancient Accepted Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, 187. And don't forget George Washington equals 187, so does Washington, D.C., 187. We just saw Trump have his GOP convention on July 18th, 18/7, a span of 187 days from Inauguration Day in Washington, D.C., where, again, the headquarters for the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry are. So anyway, 187. Notice William Gross is also 58. Freemasonry, 58. Secret Society, 58. Donald Trump, the winner of the 58th U.S. presidential election. He announced he was running from the 58-story Trump Tower. For Inauguration Day, he hired the 58-year-old Steve Ray. Freemasonry is invested in Kabbalah. Kabbalah has the core belief that God created the world by merging the letter with the number. This is why this is so important. This is why these rituals are so redundant. This is why these people who get these celebrated positions are named accordingly, careers accordingly. This goes on all throughout government, all throughout media. Notice William Gross is also 77 in the base ciphers. Secret Society also 77. Police officer 77. With regards to Washington, D.C., it's on the 77th meridian. United States, 77 in the same cipher that Secret Society is. Don't forget, on September 11th, Flight 77 hit the 77-foot tall Pentagon on the 77th meridian, exactly 77 minutes after taking off. When you write out September 11th, it sums to 77. When you write out World Trade Center, it sums to 77. Don't forget that the World Trade Centers existed for 33 years, from 68 to 2001. 911 made the national emergency dialing code on the 33rd day of the year. Anyway, this man, his name Gematria. Gross, the surname, Gematria of 78, as well as 57. That's the exact same as Scottish Rite. George Washington, Scottish Rite Freemason, inaugurated at age 57. The name George, 57. Meant to put the 57 down here too. Little omission, but try it out, gematria.com. Just type in Scottish Rite. You'll see 57 in the dark blue base cipher. So this man was sworn in this past Monday, August 6th. And what a day for a Masonic ritual. August 6th is the day leaving 147 days left in the year. Freemason equals 147. Conspiracy 147. To take this back to D.C., where the headquarters are for Masonry for this nation, the White House has 147 windows on it. U.S. President equals 147. President of the United States equals 147. In Jewish Gematria, another very relevant cipher, police equals 147. The short film Gematria, which came out in 2014, in that cipher, or in that film, they use this cipher. If you watch the trailer to that film, Gematria, that's what's called, Gematria, they spell out the word Gematria using this cipher right here. If you've been following me for years, when I began teaching this, I knew about reduction Gematria and ordinal Gematria. That's the alphabetic order and the rules of numerology. The next cipher I learned was this cipher. So these are the three original ciphers I taught. You know. Now here's the other piece. This man is black, and he's the first black police commissioner in Boston, number 42. Jackie Robinson, number 42, the first black baseball player in white major league, according to most historians. It's actually not true. The first black major league baseball player played in exactly 42 games. And normally I can recall his name right off the top of my head, but for some reason it's escaping me right now. I've covered it many times before. It's in my book, Letters and Numbers. His name in Gematria, the first true black baseball player in Black Major League, his name sums to 42. He played in exactly 42 games in the late 1800s. Anyhow, I just want you to see in the base ciphers, the reduction ciphers, forwards, backwards, slavery 42, the N-word 42, February, which is Black History Month 42, history 42, Jackie 42, Martin 42, Malcolm X 42. Just another example to throw at you, Huxtable, as in the name of the family in the Cosby Show, Huxtable 42, Cosby Show 42. If you've seen the sitcom Martin, he lives in apartment number 42. And if you've been following my work for years, we've covered so many stories of divisive propaganda where the number 42 is coded right in it. Think about Black history on the bus 42. Think about the derogatory term boy used towards black men 42. You know, I don't know if we'll ever get a more clear or definitive example than this right here of everything I've been educating about, everything I've written a book about, Freemasonry, controlling police, Freemasonry, the media, police doing things ritualistically by this code, stamping this number again and again on black men, black history. You know, how blatant is this? And every single number we talk about, you know, front and center right here. William G. Gross. If you've never been to Gematria.com, smelled kind of like the Terminator, but with G-E-M-A at the beginning, Gematrinator. Derek, who built this calculator, he was once a skeptic of my work. He had to build the calculator to make it easy to test out the system to see if it was relevant. And in no time flat, he figured out that this was the real deal. This is what was really going on. So grateful Derek found this work. Grateful Derek built this calculator. And now Derek also has, you know, a podcast, a YouTube channel. He's real passionate about this work. So putting in a lot of time. And everyone's free to use this calculator. And I also appreciate that on his website, he's been promoting my book. If you want to get my book, it's on Etsy.com. If you go to Etsy.com and just type in letters and numbers, it'll pull right up. Thank you to everyone who's purchased the book. I've priced this book, despite being 773 pages and taking me 5 years to write, I've priced it at just $5 because I want everyone to be able to afford it. And, you know, I was thinking it would sell like hotcakes, as well as it's written, as important as the information that's in here is. But very few people have supported, and that's been a huge disappointment for me. People out there who followed this work for all these years can pick up this book. You know, you'll be doing yourself a big favor and helping me out as well. And, you know, the book's well organized, teaches you the code, how it's been used throughout history up to the present. The 18th chapter is about the race war by the numbers. And in that chapter, I begin with a very long list of 42 and a whole lot more. So definitely pick up the book. In this reporting here from the New York Times, they also talk about, you know, 42%. This is in the same article about him being made the 42nd police commissioner. The numbers reported in the media are contrived. It's all part of a code. If you check out that short film, Gematria, the film is really boring and not very fun to watch, and there's honestly not a lot of Gematria in it. It kind of makes the guy who's studying it look like a psychopath, just like mumbling to himself, not being coherent. But at the end of the film, this guy comes into the thing and says, you know, you're not supposed to use this code to predict the end of the world. This code's used by people in high places who communicate through this and operate ritualistically, which is exactly what I've been exposing, long before I even realized that movie existed. And it is interesting that that movie came out about a year after I started putting out this research. But anyhow, I think we covered it all for now, Truth Seeker. Until next time.